What's up, guys? It's Christian Welch with the Fantasy Authority, bringing you the second edition of our Mock Draft Monday series. Robbie got us kicked off last week, showing us the zero wide receiver strategy. Today, I'll be following up with that, showing us the robust RB strategy. So very similar to what Robbie did last week, but we will not be taking a quarterback or a tight end in the first 3 rounds. We will be smashing running back the first 3 rounds, maybe even the 4th round if the right one is there, because we have 2 flexes in this league. We'll fill in the wide receiver room after that, maybe still get a really good tight end, and we're going to snag our quarterback somewhere between rounds 9 to 11, and we're really going to like the way this build comes out. So let's hop over to Fantasy Pros. We're going to utilize their really neat tool called their Mock Draft Simulator. I'm going to be picking from the 7th spot right in the middle. It's a snake draft, half PPR scoring, 12-team league. Again, there are 2 flexes, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. We do have the defenses and kickers in there. Most people's home leagues still have them, so we'll leave them in there. And then 6 bench spots. So let's go ahead and start this draft. Let's look at the board and how it fell. McCaffrey went first. Cook went second. Henry went third. Kamara 4th. Barkley 5th. Taylor 6th. And then here we are very happy to take Ezekiel Elliott. I expect a massive year for the Cowboys this year on offense. I expect Zeke to be back to prime form. I cannot get enough of Zeke in redraft settings this year, so I'm thrilled to start this build with him. Again, we know we're going running back next round, so let's see who is left for us. We had Nick Chubb come off the board. Tyreek Hill was the first receiver taken. Aaron Jones, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Adams, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Hopkins, Diggs, Kelsey, and then Josh Jacobs. Cam Akers is the best player available, followed by Joe Mixon, and then a couple receivers, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, who I love. But for this strategy, again, we are sticking with running back position. For me, Cam Akers here is going to be the pick. It seems like he's the darling of the community this offseason. It seems like he's the man, going to get the majority of the work there and a great offense. Let's go ahead and take Cam Akers here to be our running back 2 with Zeke, and we'll see who the 3rd round leaves us. It looks like J.K. Dobbins is the best player available, which I'm very happy with. But again, let's see what we're leaving behind to employ this strategy. So let's go over here to all players. Allen Robinson's on the board. Darren Waller's on the board. Terry McLaurin's on the board. Mike Evans. These guys would be very tempting. Like Darren Waller here is very appealing. But for this strategy, we're going to employ running back, running back, running back. I am fine taking J.K. Dobbins right there at the same tier of Darren Waller. I don't feel we're leaving many points behind. We may not get as big of an advantage at the tight end position, but I am very happy with the tight ends that I think will be available after we get our 3 or 4 running backs. So let's come back over here to the running back tab. We'll go ahead and take our running back 3, J.K. Dobbins. I absolutely love the Ravens offense. I'm not buying into the fact that he wasn't utilized in the passing game enough. I expect an absolutely huge season for him. I loved him coming out of school. I love the athlete he is. I love the running back he is. He was efficient last year. I am not scared off on J.K. Dobbins. I was hoping that David Montgomery or Chris Carson were going to slip to us here in the 4th round. Neither of them did. So Kevin Steele will be happy to see that I'm not going 4 straight running backs just because the board didn't fall that way, but I would have. So let's see what we got now. Best wide receiver available is probably where I'm leaning. Looks like it's Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Julio Jones. For me, of those 3, I would consider going Amari Cooper probably. For this case, I may go Julio Jones to maybe get the Tannehill stack later. Tannehill's kind of the quarterback I had my eye on in that 9 to 11 range. Real quick, I want to peek at tight end, see what's going on there. I'm keeping my eye on these 4. So this tier here of Hockenson, Pitts, and Andrews, I know they're going to come off the board soon, but I would like to get one of them. If for some reason I miss on one of them, I expect Zach Ertz to be out of Philly and Dallas Goedert to see a much bigger role this year. I don't have Goddard far off from this tier. So if we had to settle for Goddard, we could. At this point of the draft, it's less chalky because we're not up there with the elite players. I think it's really important at this point to consider your options and really see what direction you want to go with it. So for me, after seeing Julio last year, the age of 32, I'm a little more scared off of him, the fact that he can miss some time adjusting to a new offense. I love what the Titans are going to do this year, but I'm going to value Amari Cooper and his age, his consistency, and the Dallas offense a little more so than Julio Jones at this point. But another thing we need to consider is I drafted Zeke. Are you afraid to have a running back and a wide receiver from the same team on the same fantasy roster? On a team like Dallas, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm very bullish on their offense, I think Dak was on pace to throw for like 6,000 yards last year when he got hurt. I am not concerned that there's not enough, mouths to feed there in Dallas. I think Amari Cooper can eat. I think Zeke can eat. I am not afraid to have both of them on the same team. So here I'm going to take Amari Cooper. The Julio Tannehill stack would be nice, but I just trust Amari Cooper at our wide receiver one position more than I do Julio Jones at this point. Now with the wide receivers, I feel like we're in kind of a big tier. So we got Jamar Chase, we got Odell Beckham, we got T. Higgins, we got Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark, Chase Claypool. I feel like we're getting into a tier here to where I don't have to have one of these guys. I'm going to get one of them as my wide receiver too, but there's no one that I see as light years above the rest. So here's where I'm going to come over to tight end and check it out. Come over to quarterback and check it out. There's still some super elite guys here. I could go for just the massive Dallas stack here with Dak. Kyler Murray's here. Lamar Jackson's here. For me, I'm going to take Kyle Pitts here. Kyle Pitts is going to see just an insane amount of volume. We missed out on Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller employing the robust RB strategy. A lot of people think Kyle Pitts is already in that tier. I was a little skeptical to get there at first, but with the amount of vacated targets in Atlanta now, it is hard to see Kyle Pitts not absolutely eating this year. I'm going to take the positional advantage. There's a lot of quarterbacks here that I like. There's a lot of wide receivers here that I like. I feel like I'll be more upset if I don't take Pitts here. Let's go ahead and hop back here. Quarterback-wise, Dak's gone. Kyler Murray's gone. Lamar's still there, though. Justin Herbert's still there. So we're getting pretty elite. But again, I don't feel the need to take a quarterback early when employing this strategy. At running back, Melvin Gordon's there. Chase Edmonds is there. Ronald Jones is there. This is where running back gets a little muddy for me. I'm very happy we already have three guys that I know are getting volume at the beginning. Coming back over to the draft board, you see we've gone Zeke, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Cooper, and Pitts. Here I'm going to go back to the wide receiver position, and I am going to take Cortland Sutton. Don't like the quarterback situation there. I absolutely love Cortland Sutton, the player that he is, and it seems like Denver could be in for a quarterback upgrade of some sort. Hopefully for all of our fantasy assets in Denver that happens. But I really, really like the fact that I've started with the two receivers that I have, given that I punted wide receiver for so long. So here is where it gets kind of interesting. I want more quality starters here. This is where I would consider taking a quarterback. If Lamar Jackson was still here, I would probably smash that right there. Obviously, some question marks around Aaron Rodgers right now. Love Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts is an absolute weapon on the ground. But again, there's guys like Ryan Tannehill, Matthew Stafford still down this board. I don't feel the need to go quarterback just yet because I like what I can get a little later. Javonte Williams here is intriguing to me. I really think he's going to take that role in Denver, and we did not get our fourth running back earlier. So I really, really love Javonte Williams. Let's go over to wide receiver and see if there's anybody that I would just be extremely, extremely regretting if we went ahead and took Javonte Williams. Here we've got Tyler Boyd, Brandon Cooks, Curtis Samuel, Jerry Jeudy. Again, a lot of players that I like. It seems like this is another pretty big tier to where I could go ahead and take Javonte Williams and still be happy with who I get at wide receiver a little bit later. So let's go ahead and take him at the 707. So best available players, Tom Brady is showing up as the best available players, which makes me really want to check out quarterback. Jalen Hurts is still available, and we are in round 8, so that's pretty good value there. And I love my quarterbacks to be able to run. Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, not your running quarterbacks, but very efficient passers, all on good offenses. A lot of good options here at quarterback. I am very tempted to take Jalen Hurts, but I just want to make sure that I'm not passing up on anything I would regret if we did that. Leonard Fournette's a real interesting option here. I don't hate Ronald Jones, though, and I'm not the biggest Leonard Fournette fan. If we didn't already have 4 running backs, I would love this value here. Zach Moss, James Conner, same thing. I could easily see them putting up some work on the ground this year. Same thing with Drake. This is the tier of running back that I really don't want to have to start, and that's why I love the robust RB strategy. I would much rather have the options of guys like Michael Pittman, Jarvis Landry, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Ryan Tannehill in this round, instead of having to take James Conner or Zach Moss as one of my starting running backs. So that's really why I like this strategy. In this case, the value is too there for me not to take Jalen Hurts. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Hurts as my quarterback here in the 8th round. And I kind of want to get a look at my team to see where we're at, kind of reset and see what I want to do with these next few rounds. And here's the team I'm working with right now. I've got Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I've got Ezekiel Elliott and Cam Akers at running back, Amari Cooper and Cortland Sutton at wide receiver, Kyle Pitts at tight end, and then J.K. Dobbins and Javonte Williams in the flex. I've only got 2 wide receivers, so we need to go back and really build up the wide receiver position at this point. And I'll take Chenault. Like I said, I'm very clear that I prefer Michael Pittman. I expect Chenault to have a big role here, though, and we need to build some depth in that position. So I'll take Chenault there. Wanted Pittman, though, there, to be clear. I've got my starting lineup filled out. I've now got a bench player. I'm really just drafting on upside. I feel good with the amount of starters I have at each position, other than probably wide receiver. I'd like a couple more. But at this point in the draft, this is where I feel the value is. There are a lot of wide receivers here that I absolutely love. Some good upside with the rookie class and wide receivers that's sitting here. And again, to compare it to the running backs that are left, Devin Singletary is not a guy that excites me. Jamal Williams, good player, but he's DeAndre Swift's backup, and simply that, in my opinion. Tony Pollard's appealing here because we do have Zeke. The wide receivers that I like, again, let's come over to the cheat sheets. I don't have to have Corey Davis. I don't have to have Michael Gallup. I don't have to have Marvin Jones. I'm okay reaching for upside here with like Jalen Reagor, and then even later a little bit Rashad Bateman. So I'm going to go ahead and come back to running back, and kind of as a handcuff, kind of as he's the best guy available, take Tony Pollard here. Looks like he's got a little bit of a role there in Dallas, and if for some reason Zeke was to go down, he is a guy I have no problem starting every single week. So I like the value of Tony Pollard there. So again, we need to build that wide receiver room a little bit. Let's come over here. For me, I'm going to take Jalen Reagor here. I love Darnell Mooney. I just think Jalen Reagor's ceiling is so much higher. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on the rookie year with as big of a mess as Philly was. We got Devontae Smith coming in. I really expect him and Reagor to be a good duo. So we're going to take Jalen Reagor here in the 11th round. And really like the way this is coming through now. So we've got 4 wide receivers, Cooper, Sutton, Chenault, and Reagor. We obviously have that 3-headed monster at running back with Zeke, Cam Akers, and J.K. Dobbins. Jalen Hurts at QB, Kyle Pitts at tight end, and then we've added some upside to the bench with Javonte Williams, Tony Pollard. So I think we're in a really good spot at this point. This is a 16-round draft. I am certainly saving our defense and our kicker for the 15th and 16th round. So we have, 3 more bench spots. Probably going to take 2 more wide receivers at this point. I don't really draft a backup quarterback or a backup tight end. If those guys get hurt, I'm going to be streaming anyway, so I don't really worry about that. I'm reaching for upside. Who could possibly have a monster year, whether it's because of an injury or some other factor? Rashad Penny is looking like the top guy on the running back end if something were to happen to Chris Carson. And then you get into these guys like Michelle, Bernard. Salvin Ahmed is interesting. Undrafted. Myles Gaskin's the guy there, though. They bring in Malcolm Brown, just a bunch of Jags in Miami. Maybe Salvin Ahmed has a shot. I even like guys down here like Chuba Hubbard. Like if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, we saw what Mike Davis did last year. There's not really anyone else there except for Chuba Hubbard in Carolina. But again, these running backs are not getting you excited. I am very happy that we have 5 running backs already at this point and don't have to go that direction. But at wide receiver, I feel like we'd be reaching if I came down to some of my favorite rookies. So I'm going to go ahead and take Darnell Mooney here. He should put up a good year last year. Looks to be the bona fide wide receiver 2 there. Justin Fields is going to take that job at some point. We should see their passing offense increase. Rashad Penny is still here, which is interesting. Don't like Ruggs, don't like Hardeman. The guys that I really love, Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, the rookie upside guys that I think could easily take on a bigger role on their team, they're still going to be there in the next round. I don't like the running backs past Penny here, so let's go ahead and take Penny just for the possibility that he could have a big role in Seattle if something were to happen to Chris Carson. Here in the 14th, we're going to go ahead and take Elijah Moore if he's available. If not, Terrace Marshall. Elijah Moore is gone. We'll go ahead and take Marshall, get the rookie upside on the bench, and then we'll fill out this roster with our defense and our kicker. So with defense and kicker, I usually look at like the schedule at the beginning of the year, try to find somebody with a week, playing weak offenses the first couple weeks of the year. Because honestly, I'm a defensive streamer. I'm not somebody that's going to play the same defense every week. At this point, overwhelmingly, the Colts are the best defense, so we'll pick them up. And then kickers have no place in fantasy football outside of the Scott Fish Bowl. But for this case, we will take one. We'll see who's there. Rodrigo Blankenship, stud. Got to love those specs. We'll take him here. And I really think this build turned out really good. So let's see. We got Jalen Hurts at quarterback, a top 10 QB. We have Ezekiel Elliott, Cam Akers, and J.K. Dobbins at running back, just an absolute 3-headed monster. We got Amari Cooper and Cortland Sutton at wide receiver. And for not taking a wide receiver for as long as we did, that's pretty good wide receivers, if you ask me, to have the running backs that we do. We have Kyle Pitts at tight end. We have Javonte Williams at running back 4, who we know is going to see a bigger role by the time the end of the season gets here. And then our bench players, Laviska Shenault will be that first receiver off the bench, Jalen Reagor behind him. We've got Tony Pollard and Rashad Penny as upside running backs. Tony Pollard, in this case, is also handcuffing our first-round pick in Zeke. We have Darnell Mooney and Terrace Marshall as some bench wide receivers. Darnell Mooney being more of a receptions guy. Terrace Marshall being a guy that hopefully we could see double-digit touchdowns out of if he gets a bigger role. So this is a team I absolutely love. Kyle Pitts, I know a lot of people think that he's on his way to tight end number 1 overall. Feel we got a really good positional advantage there. I love my teams when I take 3 running backs early. If somebody doesn't like this team, let me know what you don't like about it. But for me, taking your running backs early allows you to take guys like Amari Cooper and Cortland Sutton and Kyle Pitts instead of guys, like that we talked about during the draft there at running back that are just not guys you're going to be excited to press start in your starting lineup. So I hope you guys like this draft strategy. We're going to be doing this every Monday through the offseason until we go through just about every possible draft strategy there was. Let me know what you guys think about this team. You can find me on Twitter at EvilEmpireFF if you want to interact with me there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Fantasy Authority on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next Monday.